I'm just making my way up here. That's okay. Hi. Hi. I've had people ask for a while now, really since I started Instagram, to maybe make some videos and go over my process and stuff when I paint. I think that we knew that going into this. I was talking about painting. I have honestly tried for a few times in the last year or more to make time lapses, but really I am, once I get into my zone and I'm ready to paint, having anything on my mind, so like when I have a GoPro set up, I feel like I'm thinking of that on the side. I don't like it. But I was realizing yesterday as I was taking some time to set up how much time I spend and different things I do when I set up, and I thought maybe some of that might be helpful. By no means is this going to work for everyone's process. I paint with acrylics. Everyone paints differently. For me, there's a few things that I find frustrating in my process that hold me back, like paint drying, which I paint with acrylics, so I should expect that. But and then I find other times that it won't dry quick enough. So yeah. Also, going into painting, I want to go into my painting. I want to get in my zone. I don't want to be distracted. It's hence the headphones, and the reason I don't want to talk or teach or whatever while I'm painting is important to me. It's my sanity. So I want it to keep moving. Now I know there's some people who go in and they know what colors they're about to use, and they have this plan and they lay it out and they've mixed their colors and they have them there, and they can paint their whole damn picture in one sitting, and every single color they know where it's going to go. I don't. I have been asked so many times about my color palette, or even like complimented in ways I don't even think I fully understand about my colors and the way I use them. I go in and I just get in my zone and I just go and I just hope for the best. There's technique right there. Can't learn that shit in art school. So this is getting awkward. So I'm just gonna try to keep it short and simple, and maybe you'll find it helpful, maybe not. If you do, let me know and maybe I'll make some more. And there's a lot of maybes. Who knows? I'm just gonna jump right into my first thing that I do when I'm getting ready to paint. Other than this, all the time, get used to it. Not really a new concept, wet palettes. I haven't fully seen it done in the way I do it. I haven't seen everything, so who knows, but I do feel like, I'm just gonna show you. So I know when I was a lot younger, like elementary school, my mom taught me how to use like pie plates and lids and cardboard to wrap up with maybe tinfoil or something, and use it as a palette. That way you just take off the tinfoil and throw it out. May not be the best environmentally, but anyways, my paintings have grown, I have grown, and my palettes have really grown. I prepare 3 of these heading into a painting on the first night when I just start. I have one that's much larger, and then these ones. So what I've done is I have just found lids. I wish I could tell you where or what kind they were, but I have lids that just show up and no bottoms, and bottoms and no lids. That may make sense now, but I don't know how it started. I just started using them. They usually have a nice little ridge on one side, and so what I do is I lay down my paper towel. There's like the super absorbent stuff if you want to use. I don't think it makes a huge difference. I actually just keep layering new stuff on top of the old stuff a lot. I set it just in the middle of the lid. And there's also just like regular stuff. It's cheaper and just do whatever you want. Put paper towel in it. Some people mist with a sprayer. I take a jar of water and I literally just dump it like right. I like to put a lot in there, so I just take something and here's a glass of water and I just dump it and soak it. Okay, and rip parchment paper. So make sure it's parchment and not wax paper. This stuff is okay. I mean, I do a lot of mixing with palette knives and metal palette knives. It doesn't fall apart on me. That's okay. The right size. I'll show you because I'll send up this. Can't beat that shit. Okay, and then with my paper towels, I'm just using this one. We've just moved along. Okay, paper towels inside, lay it on top, and then I just use these little office tips. I just get from the dollar store. I use them for a lot of things. I can't think what else right now, but I use them a lot. I have so many of them lying around, and I just clip it on to the bottom edge. There's no lip or anything on this bottom edge of any of the ones I use, so it works. I can't tell you which ones do or don't, but hopefully you don't have to go out and buy something. The whole thing about it is I just find this stuff lying around and figure out, oh, I'm gonna use this. That's about it. So yeah, there's no like bridge, so it just clips on nicely. So I guess if you are going to buy something, just make sure there's no lip there so it doesn't, you know, it might not even matter. Just buy a lid. Don't buy a lid. Find a lid. Or use cardboard. I don't know. That's reassuring in a tutorial. And there you go. So yeah, I prepare like 3 of these, and then I'm like ready for the next night of painting, or the night I'm going into. I'm just gonna say next like 10 hours, but sometimes I do make a few more. And then you just, yeah, you pull them off and just put a new sheet on top. If they start to dry out, just pour some water or mist it. And there's your palette. It doesn't have to be a wet palette. You do the exact same thing. I also do that. Same thing, tape this around, and don't put the paper towel and don't wet it, and then it's just a dry palette. It's that simple. Boom. A lid, parchment paper, paper towels, obviously wet palette. And I mix everything up on here, and I don't use much water in my paints. Like, I don't use my brush and mix in water or anything usually. I will have always a mister bottle. Mister. My Mr. and my Mrs. Oh. Sorry there, Lionhead. My beautiful friend. Okay. I'll sometimes, like, I'll occasionally lift this up and spray, or I'll just, like, give the paint all a quick, like 2 squirts. Okay, so that brings me to the next thing. When all of a sudden I'm, like, get called away, or have to walk away, or have to go make a pizza, or whatever, and my paint's sitting there and I don't want it to dry. I know people have all sorts of methods. I used to try to take it out, put it into a giant Tupperware container, and close the lid, and you know what? What I would do is I'd end up coming back. I'd never use it, because for some reason taking the lid off and reusing what the paint was too hard. So I would just remix paint. So this is what I find now works. Is once I have my paint on, let's say I'm about to step away, I know it's going to be, you know, like half hour or more or less, or any time. I give like a quick spray to my paints. Like I said, I don't like using water too much. That's just a preference. And then I seriously, no matter like whatever size this is, I find something. Here's an example. This is my organization skills. Okay, sample. Okay, I have, this is a palette I was using yesterday, or last night or sometime. This is just like a tray, again from a dollar store that I found. And I just place it on top, literally overnight. I give it a mist, put it there, and it's good. Some of the lids underneath are smaller or bigger or have air holes, so it's good for a little bit, but if you leave it too long, they'll dry out. But in which case, if I just have a bit of paint, let's see if I have something. I literally will grab any container. If I have a bit, all right. I will improvise anything I have. I have like yogurt containers and jars holding things, so I'll find anything. Sometimes I'll just have like, you know, something mixed up there, something mixed up there. I give it a miss and I just put it on top. It may not be the best, but it works. It's better than having it all dry out, or I don't know. For me it works. Like I said, this is just an IKEA hack. It's supposed to hold my flowers, but it keeps my paints moist. On to another hack. So here is the third. There might have been more than 3. Are we counting? Let's call this option E. No, hack 3, 4, 5. I think they all kind of go into one. Let's say it's just one part E. All of the above. I don't know how to fucking edit videos. Well, moving along. This is one thing that is more maybe in the last year, a recent practice of mine, is I got like 7 brushes going at once, and honestly I'm like Wolverine. I can hold on to a certain amount, but there is a point that I have to put something down and grab Wolverine, as in I have like brushes and like claws. Alright, so I have heard of things that hold brushes, brush holders. I have never got one because I have brush holders and I have a table or a few tables around me. My issue is when the brush goes in the water, it comes out covered in water, the paint. Sometimes you don't want the paint off of it. Sometimes you just need to put it down, but you need to keep using it just like you would if you were to place it in different parts of your hand. I should have brushes. I have brushes. I can show you. Okay, you know, we're going along with this one, and then up comes this one, but we're blending with this one over here, and we're holding the bright blue over turquoise on this one, and we're going, and then all of a sudden we need to grab something, put it down. So what I do is this actually I used to use as a wet palette, but not for very long. I take a giant Tupperware container as my brush holder. I put paper towels again in the bottom of it. These are very dirty, covered in paint right now because I use it for multiple reasons. I just dump a whole jar of water in. I get like a stack of paper towels. I can't even tell you how many are in there. I kind of relayered them. I let them dry out good too, or else they probably get really stinky. And I dump in the water, so it's not like a pool, but the towels are wet, and I just kind of, as I'm painting, I just kind of gently put them down. This might not work for you if you're worried about the colors getting, you know, they don't even get really mixed anyways, but it has enough grip that it holds the brush up, it keeps it up, it's not sliding down, it's not sitting on my table. But every now and then I'll take the mister, and maybe mist them on top. They've been sitting there for a while, and then I grab them and use them because I usually have a few colors going at once, and then when I'm like done with them, I can throw them in the water. I also don't like them staying in the water for a long time because that's when everything starts to crack and crumble and fall apart, and my world just falls down around me and I don't know what to do anymore. So instead I just don't let them sit in the water. I will sometimes just rinse them off in the water, and then I'll like like wipe the rest off on these paper towels that are in here. So I just am constantly using a bin like this, and you know, there's always a few in the water or a few on a table or if I've forgotten somewhere, but for the most part this works for me, and they stay, paint stays wet and I can just grab them and I know where they are, and it's not a brush holder, but it holds brushes. It does other things. I clean them and give them some sort of security and environment, and I know where they are when I need them. Moving along. I realized that a lot of these hacks have to do with keeping paints from not drying out, and I also realized that some people have their paints and they're not going to dry out because they're going to put down an exact amount. They have this equation in their head and they have their tube, and I've read the books. There are measurements of how much and whatever. I've read the books. I've looked at the pictures mostly, but I know that that's how some people do it. That's not how I do it. I think I said before, depending on what I put in this video, I just put my feelings in paints all on the palette at once, and I hope for the best. Yeah, it's worked so far. So, I don't know if this helped. I don't even know if it made sense, but there are some of you out there who asked for it. So you got it. And, you know, I want to just paint right now, so I'm going to do that. I can't do the thing at the end of the video that some people like. I'm just making it, I'm just putting it here. You can watch it. That's good. I'm good with that. I'm going to end it easily. It's done now. The video is done. If I feel inspired to make more, and if people are like, wow, that those helped me a lot, right? Can you please give me 3 more? I'm gonna do that for you, and even better. And if not, I'm just gonna paint. That's what I'm here for. That's what I do. That's it. So happy painting, guys.